Hey guys, I'm going to break down a quick clip that David and I did on one of my Instagram lives about how to change people's mind. Okay, so before you make an offer, one of the reasons why you're not closing as many people is because you and your prospect, you're looking at the same thing. Like let's say you're selling sales coaching. You're looking at the same thing, but my perspective and the prospect's perspective are completely different. And this is what's causing a clash on your sales. And so before you make the offer, you have to coach people's thinking so that they see the thing the same way as you see it. So I'm going to flip into my computer here, show you the little back and forth between David and I if you missed it. And this is from a workshop that we're doing. So if you want details on that, you can DM me on Instagram, Ben W. Byrne. Just say workshop and I'll send you all the information on that. Anyway, hopefully you learned something from this. Comment below what you learned, and let's get right into it, okay? I'm gonna flip over right now. All right, we're back. We're looking at my screen. Ignore all my tabs. Here's me looking juicy as fucking Dubai. Just have to point that out. I'm like way ripped. Now, this is from a 3-part live series that we did here. Specifically, part 2 of the skills. So there's 3 things that go into helping people close. I got a hair in my mouth. 80%. So the second piece is the skills. And one of the things that David is like a pioneer at is really understanding people's thinking. Okay. So what we want to do is go through an exchange like David and I have here. We're just role playing. So I'll just play this and I'll point out some things he's doing, which you can incorporate into your sales. There's some objection handling principles here, which are very powerful. As we go, I'll just stop and give you my thoughts. Yeah.
The better for the coaching piece.
So David says there's no such thing as sales. Sales is an outcome of marketing and coaching throughout the call. First of all right. So this is what we're talking about. Marketing, we think of marketing as moving the call forward, building momentum. David breaks the call up into 9 different chunks. And before you can go from chunk 1 to chunk 2, you have to also, sometimes you have to coach them a bit to make sure that you're on the same page, right? So this is what we're talking about.
The better you are in the marketing piece, the inevitable next step is the sales piece. It's natural. It's in law. You do this and this, you will get there. 1, 2, it's not 5, it's 3. 1, 2, 3. Coach, market.
So just really quick, the reason why people screw up their sales is either because you're not coaching your prospects on how to think before you're making the offer, and it's coming up to a clash, like a frame battle, or you're skipping ahead in steps, right? Some people, they don't have like a framework that they follow on these calls. So if I know to close every time, I need to take someone sequentially through step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but you're going 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 4, 3, and you're bouncing around. That in itself is causing a lot of friction in your sales process.
A sale. Coach, market, have a sale. That's it.
Okay. So let's say I hop on the phone. You're trying to sell me on sales coaching, and you say, hey, Ben, fill in the blanks. Sales is blank. And I go, sales is... So this is the first thing that David does on his calls. After he's gone through the formalities of the intro, the agenda, a bit of a commit piece, which is different than what a lot of people do, which ties into the pre-framing, into the system, which we're going to talk about on the workshop. The first thing he does is this. He wants to understand how do I think about insert topic here, right? If you sell marketing, how do you think about marketing? So this is his line of questioning. Cool. How do you coach me?
Why do you want a sales coaching? If you say evil.
Well, I want more money. You know, I kind of cut myself off, but I said sales is evil. I want to close more sales, but I just hate sales. It's super stressful.
Super stressful. What is stressful? Getting more money. Getting more money, or thinking around that?
No, the getting money is not stressful. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to push people.
So you don't want to push people?
Yeah, it's not my personality, you know. I don't like to push people.
Okay, so when it comes to pushing, you think getting money in order to get money, you need to push somebody?
Well, not always, because some people they're this is a thing that comes up on objections. Sometimes we want the prospect to elaborate on their objection. So this is technically this is an obstacle. If you think of an obstacle as everything that you disagree with before the price drop, an objection is everything you disagree with after the price drop. When things are obstacles, it's like there's a saying in sales that you want to kill the monster while it's a baby. Think of Godzilla. If you could go and just step on Godzilla when he was just a tiny little lizard, he wouldn't be a problem. But the problem is people ignore red flags, they ignore a mismatch in thinking, and by the end of the call, it's fucking Godzilla and it's you can't kill it and the sale's done. Okay? So one thing when people throw up objections in general, you want them to talk, you want to get them talking. So when someone says they can't afford it, the first thing you say is, can't afford it? Yeah, well, and then you want to get them to elaborate on their point because one thing David's doing here is uncovering my beliefs around this thing. So there's a structure of beliefs. Okay. So it's like if then means, right? So if I do sales, that means I'm a bad person, for example. If I spend this money, that means I'm irresponsible with money, right? If someone says that's expensive, that's an incomplete belief. So the best way to get them to elaborate, to know, to uncover more of what the actual objection is to just repeat back what they say. You got to think about it. Well, yeah, because is this a lot of money? Oh, okay, no, I know it's a money thing. Gotcha. Is it more value or is it more of a cash flow? That's the next point. Anyway, without getting off track here, let's just keep going through this because this is important. It's ready to buy, so it's you.
Okay, so it's not so much on that. There is something else. What else is there? How have you been trained by sales? That sales is hard.
So what David is doing, is he following a framework necessarily? Maybe, but a lot of it comes down to just being genuinely curious into understanding how I see the world, right? You have to be curious in seeing how your prospect thinks, how they see the world, because the correlation that we're going to make here is that there is a direct line between how you think and what you believe, what you're doing, and the outcome that you're getting. And if we can get the prospect to see that the outcome that they're getting is based on how they're thinking and how their thinking is flawed, then it gives them an insight. And when they have an insight, they're like, oh, wow. For one, the call feels more valuable. Two, they're open now to seeing your way of seeing things. And the byproduct of when you guys see the world the same way is that they will move into your frame and they're now open to receiving your offer. Hopefully that makes sense. Like a lot of salespeople. Make sure you subscribe if you like this video. Subscribe, it really helps. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. Once I do, I'm coming for Mr. Beast. They tell you got to handle all the objections, and you got to hard close people, and you got to like ask all these I don't know, pain questions.
Because I don't think that you're a person that loves to put somebody in pain. For me, you look like a pretty cool dude, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Unless they deserve it, yeah.
Yeah, of course. If somebody wants to kill you, you become the worst version of yourself, of course, right? So I don't think that how I just see you, I don't think that you're a bad person. I think you want to have it natural. Does this thing, what you're doing, feels natural to you?
Not really, no.
There we go. So what is when do things feel natural to you? Right?
That's a good question. So if you put yourself in my shoes, that could be like a big insight in and of itself. Oh yeah, you're right. It doesn't feel natural. But this whole exchange takes 5 minutes, as you can see here. And there's a part of me that goes, oh, am I wasting time on the call by going into this coaching piece? But if you remember that all we're doing on the call is building momentum towards the close, and if they see the world the same way as us, this in and of itself makes the sale possible, right? Selling is an outcome of marketing the next step of the call and coaching to make sure that they're arriving at the next step on the same wavelength as you. So if anything, this is going to shorten your calls and make them close more.
So, if you're, and then we come, this is the, let's say your core state in which you feel really good is when you feel natural, right? Mm-hmm. Like right now, you're feeling natural, you're not stressed.
Right.
Because you're doing things you like, you're doing things you're used to, you're doing things who your internal identity says, this is Ben, right? So when you're stepping into the sales identity, the core self-image that you have, you're saying, this motherfucker is not me.
Right.
There we go. So if the person as who you show up isn't you, how will be the choices that the not you is doing for you? Will those two?
When David said that, I'm like, is he trying to like trick me with his German ways? But what we're basically doing here is showing, hey, the real problem here is not your skills. In this case, it's the way you see yourself. It's the way your identity is working, your beliefs, your thoughts, things like that. You can always, when you're doing a discovery, find that there's a disalignment between the way that they're thinking about the problem and their results. Because if they were thinking about it right, they would be doing the right things, they would be getting the right results, right? So it's just another level of of discovery that you can go down. Most people are only looking at their actions, but they never question their thinking.
Match? No.
Probably not.
There we go. Right? So what the first thing you want to do, you want to have one full image which really fits you, right? Which really represents you. So at first it's, what is your core value when you want to do sales? What is it that really means for you, right? Because you mentioned, hey, look, you like people, you want to really help people. So sales is, so you mentioned two things. This is funny. Now choose what really sales is. On one side, you mentioned you want to help people, and on one side, you want to get money. What is it that you want sales to be?
Well, I had to pick one or the other.
Tell me.
Oh, probably both, I guess.
There we go. So if you now, after like talking 3 minutes, how would you rephrase the sentence sales is, if you now know both sides? Sales is this.
Yeah, sales is it's helping people and making money doing it.
There we go.
Ta-da. Oh. Okay, cool. So in that exchange, what happened? Now we're on the same page, right? Now we can go into, what am I doing? What are the results I'm getting? What's missing? What's broken? Because I'm more open to seeing the world the same way as David. So it's like in Monopoly, there's it's like do not pass go, do not collect $200. A lot of you guys are just trying to like skip through this. And at the end of the call, it's just coming back to bite you, because at the end of the day, like for me right now, I'm selling a business coaching offer where we help people run marketing, run ads. And the fundamental problem is that most of them don't believe marketing will work for them. And for a while, I was just kind of pushing through it like you tend to do, and just trying to close people and trying to use all the tactics and stuff. But until they see ads, until they see marketing the same way that we do, that I do, they're not going to buy. If they think of marketing and advertising as being shady or not working, or it's an expense, versus the way that we see it, which is like marketing is like the engine of your business. Ads are like the fuel for that car of yours, right? It's like every dollar that you put into ads should be bringing you back more than $1, or else it's broken. Like, of course, you see it as being a negative because you don't have the skills to make it work. And so really it's just getting people open up to another perspective. And that alone should make your sales easier. So with that said, I don't have anything else to say. If you want to join the workshop, DM me on Instagram, workshop. We have a few spots left. We're keeping it relatively small for this first one, 10 people maximum. And we've already sold, I think, 3 or 4 or 5, something like that. Anyway, what else? That's all I got. If you like this video, subscribe, like it, comment. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.